So in the last video, we discussed the testing fundamental test process, right? And in this video, we're going to delve into the psychology of testing, right? There are certain psychologies, right, behind testing that may not really look like much, but it affects the overall result, right? Plays an extremely important role, right? So the psychology of testing is categorized into three sections, right? The mindset of the developers and testers, the communication in a constructive manner, and test independence, right? So typically, developers will not like to see bugs in their code, right? They don't like to see errors, right, in their development, right? So software development lifecycle is a combination of different activities which are performed by different individuals using their expertise and knowledge, right? So as for the SDLC to be successful, for the software development to be successful, right? People with different skill and mindset are required, right? So from software coding, software implementation, different engineers with different skill sets, right, are there performing their functions, right? Um, to to develop a software with unique features or superior quality, right? Developers and testers of different mindset are required, right? So the developers will bring in development techniques while the testers bring in testing techniques, right? The two functions must be separate. If developers run tests on their software themselves, they might miss the errors, right, that are or the bugs that are embedded in those systems. Whereas the tester will test the system to break the system. Right? The mindset of a tester is to try and break the system in any way possible to expose those flaws. But the developers will not have the mindset to break the system while testing. Right? They will be testing to confirm that the system is working. So these are fundamental psychologies that or that the tester and developer bring into the space. That's why it's important that these functions be separated. So there's also communication in a constructive manner, right? So any process, whether technical or non-technical, requires constant communication between the team members to successfully achieve their goals and their aims. So if done in a polite and courteous manner, communication can help build a strong, reliable relationship between team members and help them avoid any misunderstanding. So sometimes software testers and developers always can get into misunderstandings due to communication issues, right? So the software tester say, "Hey, there's a bug in your code." At first, the developer will not be pleased to hear there's a bug in his code. Most of the time, most developers are not pleased to hear there's a bug in their code, right? So, but I mean, proper communication and understanding from the tester and the developer can help smoothen the friction that always occurs between these two important components of the SDLC. So we want to ensure that the tester communicates in a constructive manner, right? Clear and concise language, and a respectable manner to the developers, and to ensure that there's lesser friction in reporting the defects, right, between these two parties. Testing can also be a destructive activity, so it's important for software testers to report defects and failures as objectively and politely as possible to avoid hurting or upsetting other members related to the project. Just like I said before, developers don't like to hear that they have bugs in code. So the tester would do well to employ some diplomacy to ensure they don't hurt other people's feelings while performing their job functions. Right. So there's also the importance of independence in software testing, right? So it helps avoid auto bias, right? And it's more effective in finding and detecting bugs and defects, right? So like I said before, if the developer tests his code, he'll test it to ensure that it's working functionally. He won't test it to find defects. He'll test it to ensure that it's working. What he wrote works, right, functionally. But the mindset of the tester is to ensure he finds defects, right? So he's going to employ his skills and use any means necessary to ensure he finds defects in the code. And this is the fundamental mindset that separates the developer and the tester during testing, right? So testing independence is very important, very crucial. The developer should not be the tester of his project, or that project may go into production with bugs, right? So it also helps developers, and of course, it helps them get more accurate test results, of course, which helps to build better software, right, products, and of course, achieve greater quality for the product overall. So the levels of test independence, right? There are various levels of test independence, right? Tests are designed by the person who wrote the software on that test, right? By other members of the team who is not directly related to the software on that test. Test is performed by an individual organization group or by a test specialist, right? Of course, tests can be designed by a tester from a different organization or company. So these are levels of test independence that, so it depends on what the organization needs at that point in time, right, or what they can accommodate. These levels should be followed, right? Best practice. It's always best that the test is performed, designed, right, by another test, by someone who did not write the software, right? This helps achieve the level of balance, right, and ensures that, of course, the tester has a fresh or different perspective from the developer of the code, and results in more efficient testing, and better quality overall. So that's it for the psychology testing, and I'll see you in the next video.